Hello, everyone. My guest today is Pini Yakuel. He's the founder and CEO of Optimove, provider of the science-first relationship marketing hub. His extensive experience in analytics-driven customer marketing, business consulting, and sales, along with his innovative approaches to entrepreneurship, business building, and marketing have earned him recognition as a thought leader. Pini, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am.
All right. Tell us about Optimove. What does it do, and how do you make money?
So we make money by selling a SaaS software. Essentially, we work with companies. They pay us a monthly fee. This is how we make money. What we do, we are, as you said, a relationship marketing hub. This means that we help brands to thoughtfully communicate with their customers at scale by leveraging machine learning and data science. So when every time they talk to a customer via one of the channels, whether it's email, Facebook, Google retargeting, call center, whatever the one-to-one channel is, that conversation that they start with the customer is that much more meaningful and engaging because it's based on the data. It's based on the wisdom of the machine learning to understand really what drives customers, to detect patterns, things like that.
And what does the average customer pay you per month, would you say?
So I would say that like our price point is around $130K a year.
Okay. And that's pretty representative of what people would pay on average as well.
That is the average.
That is the average. Okay. So what is that? That's about 10.8 grand per month, something like that.
Exactly.
Do you make them sell or pay annual upfront, or can they pay monthly?
So usually our default contract starts with the quarterly in advance. That's how we start. We're not the type of a company. A lot of companies are, strapped for cash. So usually they want to get the money upfront for a year. And then the next year, there's this notion of renewal when you want to get, again, a big check for the next year. We've built the business as a bootstrap. We're cash flow positive. We've always been profitable. So for us, we're not that, strict on that. So typically we do quarterly in advance. We can do monthly in advance if they insist.
Okay. So you're cash flow positive, bootstrapped. And when did you launch the company? What year?
So the company was launched in 2009 as essentially, in a way, a consulting gig around machine learning and data science and CRM automation. But everything we do today, we did manually with people and presentations and Excel files. Throughout the years, for the first 3 years, we've accumulated money through this agency business. And in 2012, we actually launched the brand Optimove, the software product Optimove. And I think a year more into the future, so 2013, we probably completed a pivot to fully become a SaaS business and not a service business.
Okay. And over the last 12 months, what percentage of your revenue was SaaS versus agency model?
Oh, no. So ever since that time, 2013, we killed the agency business. So today, 12% of our business comes from services.
Sorry, say that again. You cut out.
Today, 12% of our business comes from services and 88% comes from SaaS licensing.
Okay. And what have you scaled to in terms of total customers?
So we work today with around 300 brands. Note that one customer can have more than one brand, right? Especially when you sign with a company that owns multiple brands or multiple entities. So it's 300 brands. It's on our site, and we're 150 people in the company.
Okay, 150 people, 300 brands. Is that generally a one-to-one ratio, though, in terms of company to brands? Like, do you have about 300 companies or no?
Oh, no. That's what I know. So it's I forget the exact number, but essentially it's sometimes a company could have more than one brand. I think the average is probably 1.4 or something like that.
Okay.
But it's...
So you've got somewhere then around like 120 companies, 300 brands, something like that.
Not exactly, but let me keep something for myself.
Fair enough. Yeah, because you know what I'm doing here. I'm going to do the math. If you do have around 120, right, times the ACV you gave me earlier. I mean, are you guys doing about north of $1 million a month right now?
So you can we do. You can think of 150 people company, and it is profitable. So you do the math and you can get pretty close. I
mean, that math would give me, if I want to be exact, 1.6 million in monthly recurring revenue. Is that about what you're doing today?
It's no, but let me keep something for myself.
Well, just tell me which of those numbers are wrong, because I'm just multiplying 150 times your ACV you gave me.
No, so the ACV is right because I gave it to you, and one of them is wrong.
Got it. Okay. So I'm obviously too high on customers. I won't push harder there other than, I mean, can you give me a general sense of size? Are you less than 10 million or more than 10 million in ARR?
No, yeah, a lot more than that.
A lot more. Okay. More. But south of 100 million?
South of 100 million, yes.
That's a big enough range, right?
Right. I mean, it would be nice to get to 100 million, but yeah, it's still south of 100 million.
Is that,
companies that million, usually they don't have 150 people. They have around 500 and north of that.
Say that again?
All the way to 1,000 or so. Usually companies that do 100 million, they have a lot more than 150 people.
Not always. I've interviewed a few that have around 150, 200 people.
You're right. No, at least in the enterprise software space, right? Of course, if you can be like, I don't know, a money printing machine that can have can do a ton of money with 50 people, right? But in the enterprise software space, it's usually there's like a metric that says, okay, so how much you're making per employee. There's like SaaS revenue per employee, and typically that number, goes between 150,000 to 220. Something like that. So, and of course, companies that raise money and pre-hire, they tilt the odds. So if you talk to a company that raised a lot of money and they pre-hired, this will not indicate on the revenue. We've always been kind of like making more than the number of employees.
In other words, the average SaaS company does 150 grand in ARR per employee. What you're saying is because you're bootstrapped, you're doing actually well north of that. You're better than average.
I know the average is, I'm not sure. I know it ranges from 150 to 220 something. We checked it like a while back. There's all these reports, that you can get. But I'm just saying that sometimes companies, when they raise a lot of money, they pre-hire, for example, they can have like 100 employees, but actually make, 4 million in revenue in ARR. So this would be very misleading.
Yeah, but you're bootstrapped, so you're not. Let's not talk about that because that's not your model. What I'm curious is, are you saying you're beating that 150 to 220 range, or you're in that range? You're average. You're with everybody else.
We are in a good place in the range, and another thing I want to mention, because you talk about the bootstrapping, we've been bootstrapping all the way to like a year and a half ago, in which we took our first round of growth funding of $20 million.
Okay, come on. You can't lead me on like that, Pini. That's not bootstrapped. That means you've raised capital.
After 8 years.
Yeah, but okay, I'll give you credit for that. But now you're on the dark side. I liked you way more a minute ago. You know that, right?
If I know that, no, I don't know that. I'm from a society that idolizes fundraising, so I'm not sure that you.
The entrepreneurs that are most impressive to me are the ones that bootstrap their way and they make themselves very wealthy, totally bootstrapped. But I get what you're saying. I mean, you hustled for 8 years. You said you just raised 20 million. Now, that's all you've raised is 20 million total?
Right.
Okay, got it. So 20 million, you bootstrapped. And I mean, look, I can put a better minimum on this, right? So if you say you have 150 employees and you're in you said, quote, a healthy area in the range between 150 grand a year in revenue to 220 per employee. I mean, at a minimum, you guys are, you're north of 22.5.
Dude, you're obsessed with that number. Let's carry on with the interview.
I'm absolutely obsessed with it, but because you're giving me data points that makes it easy, I'm just multiplying your team size by the minimum of the range, 150K.
Okay, you can guesstimate whatever you want.
Well, I'm not guessing though, Pini. I'm just using your numbers.
All right. You want me to what? To confirm a number? Let's move on.
No. I just want to, now I'm understanding because you just revealed that you've actually raised. And now I'm thinking about to what you said, which is sometimes people hire up front and there's a lag time for growth, which is.
But that's not the case with us.
That is not the case. Okay.
Even after we raised money, essentially the company is still profitable even after raising money. And we took the round for various reasons. But if I would, boil it up, it's mainly to essentially, I thought it was the right time to kind of like to gear up and acquire ammunition. And I felt that.
Why did you feel that?
Because we're like, conditions were perfect, right? The flight of the Concorde,
and their song, but check it out. Check it out. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty funny. But conditions were perfect. So we had
Which conditions though?
Our growth trajectory, the market maturity, the way we were perceived, the type of what we were able to get in terms of kind of like maintaining the company's structure and the way it was going to run with the new investors, the investors' philosophy, which were aligned with ours, the way they, their specific experience, which I thought was pretty interesting. And all of those things made it to be a lot more appealing. And when you're looking into and there's a few more things you're getting from fundraising, right? You're getting an external credibility that I've never had as a bootstrap, kind of like for eight years. And you're getting the ability to buy companies all of a sudden, because now your stock is worth something. Somebody paid something for it, so it's worth something. You can buy a company with the combination of cash and your stock.
Is that why you raised?
It's it's like I'm saying, it's like if you do things at the right moment, at the right terms, then there's many good positive outcomes that could come from it. One of them is acquisition that I couldn't do before. I'm doing now many things which are pretty more aggressive that I didn't do before. I'm still profitable, but there are some things I would never fund as a bootstrap, because your state of mind and your mentality is more survival kind of a state of mind when you're bootstrapped.
Name one of those more aggressive things.
Post funnel. So we've built a newspaper. We have our own publication that covers everything to do with relationship marketing. It's a separate brand called Post Funnel. We've actually built a publication.
A real magazine.
A real magazine. You can check it out. It's called Post Funnel. Like everything happens after the funnel, hence relationship marketing, retention marketing. And, we have external writers. We have an editor. We have designers. We actually
What's it cost you to run?
It's like altogether this year, it's around $500,000 a year.
And you just put that into marketing expense?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's thought.
I like it. I like it. It's a unique idea.
I like it too. That's why I did it.
Yeah.
But probably with the bootstrap state of mind, I would have done it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's more of a survival, like you never know, right? You want to prepare for a rainy day. So even if you have some extra funds, you keep them and you handle yourself differently, right? So it's a mind. Still, I'm not pre-hiring like crazy, and I'm not changing my philosophy because of the fact that I've raised money, but I'm trying to, always open my mind and listen to the investors and to best practices and see if it's a good fit for Optimove, but that's the story.
What payback period are you optimizing for today? And have you increased what you're willing to, how long you're willing to wait to get that money back after you raised?
You mean the investors are waiting to get their money back?
No. Your payback period. So when you acquire a customer, how long you're comfortable waiting to make that money back?
Oh, got it. Like CAC to LTV?
Well, kind of, but it's payback period, a little different.
I would say we're good with a year.
You're healthy. And has that drastically changed bootstrap mindset versus fundraised mindset?
Yeah. I think before that we were, we had like amazing CAC to LTV ratios because we got a ton of business for word of mouth. So for many, many years, we've got like with very limited marketing investment, we got very strong, business. However, as you scale and as you grow, we came to the US like 2 years ago, slightly less than that, like 1 year, 9 months ago, I moved here to New York. I'm in New York right now, and I moved here and started the office. We have 20 people in the office here in New York today. And obviously, when you go into new markets, then it's more expensive at the beginning, right? There's diminishing return.
Sure.
So every additional that you spend on a new market, a new vertical, it takes you more time to acquire brand equity and good clients that refer you to new clients and provide you proper word of mouth. So that takes time, takes more money.
Yep. And look, you told me earlier your ACV is about 130 grand. That was your average. So to get it back in a year, that means you can afford to spend up to 130 grand to acquire. That gives you a lot of wiggle room. Yeah. Yeah. What about churn?
What about churn?
So what is your
churn for our customers? And our churn is pretty good. It's pretty solid. Mostly, it's actually very, very good, but mostly when we lose business is because we have a very tight partnership with our customers that's mainly established upon data. So we get their data from their databases, their first party data, and when it goes sour is when there's issues with their data and or there's kind of like quirks in operations and the way that they send us data and it breaks and stuff like that. So this is when the relationship goes sour. It's pretty rare, but other than that, it's mostly strong.
So what is mostly strong? Do you care more about logo retention or revenue retention? I'm curious how you think about that.
Revenue.
Okay, so what is revenue churn annually, would you say?
I do care a lot about, so on a monthly basis, we churn 0.8%.
That's not bad. Now, when you add back expansion revenue, is it still 0.8% net?
Oh, you mean upsells?
Yeah, so when you add your upsell revenue, does that more than make up?
So then we have negative churn for
Got
sure.
it.
So this is only taking into account the revenue that we lose on a monthly basis.
It's gross revenue churn, not net.
Exactly. No, the net is that we have negative churn, which is great for us. But
how negative are you on that annually?
We do about So I think we do. If you go to the other side, it goes to 0.5%.
Got it. So you mean when you say go to the other side, you mean you have 100.05% net revenue expansion?
No, we have. So if we have 0.8% churn, right? So we have plus, how much is that? It's 0.5. So plus 0.3% on the other side.
Got it. So that's 3.6% basically points over the year. Yeah.
Over the year, it's times 12.
Yeah. 0.3 times 12. Yeah, the delta. Interesting. That's cool. What's growth? Last question here before we wrap up with the famous five. What's your growth rate right now year over year?
So we did mostly. So throughout the years, it's always been fluctuating, but it's always been between 60 to 100%.
Okay, and you were in that range the past 12 months.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Good growth. All right, man. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
Good to Great, Jim Collins.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
No, I'm very bad at it. My sister's husband, he's like a big CEO back in Israel, so I consult with him a lot from time to time. And my wife's mother boyfriend is the ex-CEO of Teva. He's 78, right? I call him her boyfriend.
Did you say your ex-wife's boyfriend?
My wife's. No, my wife. Did I say ex?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure as well. You can check on the recording. But my wife's mother's boyfriend. He is the ex-CEO of Teva, the pharmaceutical company. So he's like really a global, CEO leader and very experienced. So I spend a lot of time talking to both of them to gain experience.
Very good. Number three, what's your favorite online tool?
LinkedIn.
Okay. And number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
7.5, 7.
Pretty good. And what's your situation? Obviously, you're married. Any kids yet?
Yeah, 2 kids. Both of them are in bed while I sleep and kicking me in the head or the butt or somewhere.
And how old are you, Pini?
I'm 40, just turned 40.
All right, last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
So maybe I wish I would study computer science and then I would build the product myself and not having to bootstrap through all the years. But on the other hand, maybe it made me who I am. So, but I was always kind of like in college. I was like, I'm a people's person. I don't want to sit in front of a computer all day. Guess what? We all sit in front of a computer all day. And I studied math and operations research, but I wished I had studied how to code.
There you guys have it from Pini. He wishes he would have learned how to code earlier on. Launched Optimove back in 2009. He bootstrapped for 8 years and then raised $20 million recently. They're growing between 60 and 100% year over year. They're north of 10 million in ARR. Super healthy economics. Churn is less than 0.8% per month. That's revenue churn. Net revenue churn 0.5%. Negative net revenue churn, which is great. They're willing to spend up to 1 year of ACV. That's 130 grand to acquire the customer. So a payback period of 12 is healthy. They're a team of 150 people. Again, making it easier for marketing teams to use AI to understand and foster emotionally intelligent relationships with prospects and customers. All right, Pini, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Thank you, Nathan. Bye-bye.